The wine glasses clinked with that fake brightness people use when they don't really want to be there. I smiled anyway, slid into the seat across from Rachel, and placed my phone face down on the white linen napkin. The others, Dev, Simone, Hannah, kept the lunch chatter light, slicing through Caesar salads and quarterly projections with equal interest. Rachel leaned toward me, her earrings swaying like little swords. "You okay?" she asked softly. "Of course. You've been quiet lately." "I listen better than I talk." She laughed, a little too loud. "Well, that's why they keep you around, right?" I gave her a slow blink. "Exactly." The waiter came. Orders were placed. Laughter rose. Again. It felt like the kind of midday break company schedule to pretend the pressure cooker isn't on full heat. I was halfway through buttering a roll when Rachel turned to Dev and said, "So, who's gonna lead the expansion project? You know they're deciding this week." I didn't look up. "Didn't need to," Dev shrugged. "I figured it'd be you. Or maybe," his eyes flicked to me. Rachel tilted her head. Maybe. But they need someone stable. Not someone who gets overwhelmed." Simone set her fork down. "Overwhelmed?" Rachel smiled tightly. "I just mean, you know, some people get really emotional under pressure. That's all." There was a beat of silence, like everyone caught the same static at once. I looked up, finally. Right into her eyes. "Who do you mean by some people?" "Rachel." She held the smile like it was made of glass. "Oh, come on. Don't do that. I'm just asking. You know what I mean." "Actually," I said, folding the napkin slowly, "I really don't." Rachel laughed again, but quieter this time. "You're taking it too personally." "Right," I said. "Because you made a general statement in a room with 4 people, looked directly at me, and then clarified it wasn't personal." Dev cleared his throat. "Maybe we should just—" "No, it's fine," I said. "Rachel's entitled to her opinion." "I'm not trying to attack you," she said. "It's just, look, I've worked with you. You care too much. You feel everything. And when things go wrong, it shows." I nodded slowly. "Interesting." Simone glanced at me, then Rachel. "Maybe it's not about emotion. Maybe it's about strategy." "Exactly," I said. "And maybe hiding behind professionalism is just fear with a LinkedIn filter." Rachel's eyes narrowed. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I'd rather be accused of caring too much than of caring too little," I said. "But don't worry. I won't make a scene. I'll save the emotions for my diary." Simone stifled a laugh. Dev took a long sip of water. Rachel looked down at her plate, her fork hovering over a lonely shrimp. "You know I didn't mean it like that." "You meant it exactly like that," I said. "But it's fine. You've given them the headline. Too emotional to lead." She blinked. "It wasn't a headline. It was a comment." "No," I said. "It was a decision disguised as a comment. A way to plant doubt without having to own it." Dev shifted uncomfortably. "Maybe we should. You ever cry at work, Dev?" I asked, not looking at him. He paused. "Once." "Did anyone say you were unfit to lead?" He shook his head. I turned to Rachel. "I've seen you lose your temper in meetings. Slam your laptop shut. Curse in front of interns. But sure, let's talk about composure." She looked away. "This isn't the place." "No," I said, leaning back. "The place was last week, in that strategy session where you repeated every idea I pitched but with slightly different verbs." "That's not fair." "You're right," I said. "It's not fair. It's strategic. And you're very good at strategy, Rachel." The table fell into that awkward hush people pretend isn't happening. I picked up my glass, sipped the Pinot like it was water. "So, what now?" Rachel asked. "Now? Nothing. You've made your point. I just needed to understand the rules." She tilted her head. "What rules?" "The ones where pretending not to undermine someone is considered team spirit." "I wasn't." "You were," I said. "And that's okay. Just don't insult both of us by pretending it was anything else." Rachel looked tired suddenly. "Or maybe I just hadn't noticed before. I thought we were friends," she said. I smiled, small and sharp. "We were. Until the moment you decided to use me as proof of your own readiness." She blinked, lips parting like she might say something that mattered. But then she looked down again. Simone broke the silence. "For what it's worth, I think the ability to feel and still function is the real leadership skill." Dev nodded. Seconded. Rachel didn't look up. The check came. We split it, awkwardly polite. As we stood to leave, Rachel touched my arm. "You're not gonna hold this against me, are you?" I looked at her hand. "No," I said. "I'm gonna learn from it." And I walked out first. ***********. The parking garage always smelled like hot metal and betrayal. I sat in the car longer than I needed to, fingers drumming the steering wheel, headlights carving a dull cone into the concrete wall. Remember the first day? Rachel had asked. Me once, back when we still shared rides. You mean orientation or the day you spilled coffee all over the HR director? She laughed so hard she nearly missed the exit. God, I forgot about that. You covered for me. I told him you sneezed. And he believed you. He didn't, I said. But he laughed. That was how it had always been, me patching holes, Rachel lighting things on fire and calling it charisma. Tell me again why we're doing this, she'd said that night before our first pitch, because we're better together. She smiled. That's either a love song or a death wish. Maybe both. She used to bring me coffee without asking how I took it. I used to save her favorite seat in meetings. We'd nudge each other under the table when someone made a stupid point. Cheryl looked like we were the only ones in on the joke. Do you think they'll ever take us seriously? She asked once, if we make them. And if we can't? Then we burn the whole place down. She liked that answer. I did too. I called her the night my sister was in the hospital. I didn't tell anyone else. Rachel showed up with a grocery bag full of vending machine junk food, because real grief is processed with Cheetos, she said, tossing a pack at me. I should be grateful, I muttered. You should be hungry. We sat on the hospital floor, backs against peeling yellow walls. She's going to be okay, Rachel said. I didn't believe it, but I nodded. She has to be. I don't like seeing you like this. Like what? Quiet. I'm always quiet. Not with me. That was true, but it stopped being true somewhere between then and now. You think they'll ever promote us at the same time? She'd asked over Thai takeout during another weekend lost to slide decks. Probably not. Because I'm louder? No. Because you make them comfortable. I make them nervous. She paused. And that's bad? No, I said. Just dangerous. Rachel tapped her chopsticks against the edge of the container. You're the one they should fear. They don't. They will. I wish I remembered the date of that conversation. It would have made a good tombstone for the version of us I used to believe in. You're lucky, she said once. When I got the keynote, lucky. They listen when you speak. Because I speak when I mean it. She smirked. That's your mistake. You think truth wins. And you don't? Rachel leaned forward. I think appearances win. I think timing wins. Truth is what you serve last, after everyone's full. I can't play it like that. I know, she said. That's why I need you. But needing someone isn't the same as respecting them. We'd sat at my kitchen table at midnight once, red wine bleeding into our notebooks. Do you ever think about leaving? She asked. Every other Tuesday. What stops you? You. She blinked. Seriously? You made this tolerable. Jesus, she said, laughing. That's tragic. Maybe. But it's true. Rachel rested her chin in her hand. We're not meant to survive here. Not both of us. Why not? Because they'll only back one woman at the top. You don't know that. I do, she said. And so do you. We stared at each other across a sea of cold penne and cold ambition. Then let's prove them wrong, I said. Rachel didn't respond. Just sipped her wine, eyes unreadable. The Monday after that, she pitched my idea in front of the VP, with different verbs. You killed it, I told her after. She grinned. We killed it. I tried to believe that. I really did. I once told her the thing I feared most, becoming someone who mistakes being needed for being loved. She looked at me too long. You're not that, she said. I could be. She reached over, squeezed my hand. Not with me. But here I was, sitting in my car, alone again with the aftertaste of memory. The elevator dinged and I caught her voice echoing down the hall. I just didn't expect her to take it that way, she was saying. A pause. Then, yes, I said it. But come on, someone had to. I stepped into the hallway, quiet as a breath. She's not cutthroat. She's precise. There's a difference, she said. But she'll get over it. She always does. I walked past her without pausing. She startled, turned. Oh, hey. Rachel. You're here late. So are you. She glanced at her phone. Client call. Hope it was worth it. Her jaw twitched. About earlier, no. Need. She sighed. Can we just talk? Sure, I said. Talk. She hesitated. It wasn't personal. It was surgical. That's not fair. You're right, I said. Fair would be giving me credit when it's due. Not clipping my wings mid-flight. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you needed to win. Rachel swallowed hard. We built something, you and me. We did, I said. But I didn't realize you were building a ladder. She shook her head. That's not what this is. I stepped closer. Then what is it, Rachel? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like history. Just not the kind we tell people about. Her voice cracked. I never wanted to lose you. You didn't, I said. You gave me away. And I walked into the elevator. Alone, asterisk 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 asterisk. I started noticing it on a Wednesday. Hey, was the client strategy call rescheduled? I asked Tomas, hovering at his door. He looked up from his laptop. What call? The one Rachel and I were prepping for last week. Oh, Rachel. Said it got handled. She briefed me yesterday. Handled? Yeah. She looped in the client directly. I nodded. Right. Makes sense. It didn't. We were supposed to co-present. My deck. My numbers. I walked back to my desk slowly, pulse calm, fingers tighter than they looked. That was the first one. Sorry, didn't think you'd want to be on this one, Rachel said the next time the client asked for me by name. I know. I told them you were heads down on the audit. Thought I'd save you the fire drill. You told them I wasn't available? Rachel smiled like she was helping me cross a street I never asked to cross. You're welcome. I watched her walk away in heels too sharp for someone playing dumb. In a meeting 3 days later, Tomas turned to Rachel. Those escalation flags from last quarter, you flagged them early, right? She didn't look at me when she said, yeah. It was obvious once I pulled the historical metrics. No mention of my report. No mention of my warnings 2 weeks. Before she even touched the dashboard. I said nothing, just clicked my pen once. Friday. Happy hour. The senior partners actually showed up, which meant people pretended to relax while updating their LinkedIn smiles. I caught Tomas by the bar. Mind if I ask you something? Shoot. Have I done something to make you question my judgment? He blinked. What? No. Why would you think that? I've been cut out of 2 strategy reviews this month. 3 client calls. Oh, Rachel mentioned you'd pulled back to focus on back-end analytics. Did she? Yeah. Said it was. Your call. It wasn't. Tomas frowned. I'll look into that. No need, I said, sipping my water. Just wanted to know where we stand. You're solid, he said. One of my most dependable. Dependable. Like duct tape or background music. Hey, I need you to back off. That was Rachel, cornering me by the elevators Monday morning. Back off what? Tomas. You mean my boss? You know what I mean. No, I said. But I'm curious to hear you explain it. She folded her arms. You're trying to make me look bad. I'm not trying. That's cute. I'm doing nothing. You're just seeing it clearer now that I've stopped covering for you. Her voice dropped. You think he doesn't notice how you hover? How you plant doubts? I don't need to plant anything, Rachel. You're growing a whole garden of red flags without my help. She laughed, soft and bitter. You really think you're better than me? No, I said. Just less practiced at pretending. Don't start this war. You started it when you took credit for my work. I led with your work. That's what leaders do, take input, shape it. You erased me. I positioned us, she snapped. But sure, keep playing the victim if it helps you sleep. I stepped closer. I sleep fine. You should worry about the day I stop being quiet. The elevator opened. She walked in first. Didn't look back. I started documenting everything: emails, Slacks, versions of the deck showing edits, who wrote what, when, voice notes from meetings, transcribed. Every time her cursor hovered over my words and replaced them with ones that sounded more like her, I saved the version. I didn't confront her again. I just watched. And waited. You crushed it, Tomas said after her next presentation. Rachel beamed. Thanks. I felt really clear on this one. Great articulation on the risk matrix. My chart. My analysis. She caught my eye as she sat down. I smiled. She blinked. Later, Tomas pulled me into his office. I wanted to ask you something. Sure. Rachel says you've been disengaged lately. Less collaborative. Does she? She feels like you've become more isolated. Or maybe she's used to having my work to present as her own. Tomas raised a brow. I pulled out my tablet, tapped it once. These are the original files. Metadata. You'll see timestamps, authorship, changes. Every insight she shared. In the last 6 weeks? Started in my hands. He leaned forward slowly. You've been keeping records. No, I said. I've been preserving the truth. He exhaled. This is a lot. She's strategic. I'll give her that. But somewhere along the way, she decided I was a stepping stone. Why didn't you come to me sooner? Because I thought you were already listening to her. Tomas looked down. I was. I stood. Now you're listening to me. He didn't stop me as I left. Rachel found me in the break room that afternoon. You went to Tomas? No. He came to me. You showed him documents? I showed him the truth. You blindsided me. You maneuvered me. I trusted you. You used me. She slammed her cup down. You know what? Fine. You win. You always wanted to be the smart one, the ethical one. Well, congrats. Hope you enjoy the view from your high horse. It's not high. Just sturdy. You're smug as hell. No, I said. Just done. With what? Pretending you're not. Exactly who you've become. She shook her head. You don't know what it's like to be overlooked. I do, I said. Because you made it happen. Her lips parted. I needed a shot. Just one. And I needed a friend. That landed. Her eyes flickered. For a moment, I saw the girl from the hospital corridor. The one who brought Cheetos and truth. But then she straightened. I didn't come this far to lose now. You didn't come this far alone. She walked out first this time. Tomas called a team sync for Friday. He laid it all out, ownership, attribution, moving forward. Rachel smiled through it, but when the meeting ended, she didn't look at me. I didn't need her to. I'd already seen everything I needed. The subject line read, concerns alignment, FYI only. I almost deleted it without opening. I'd been clearing inbox clutter while waiting for the 4:30 to start, then I saw the thread. The recipients. I wasn't supposed to be one of them. I opened it. She's highly capable, but her reactions are inconsistent. Emotionally charged. I'm not sure she's ready to be trusted with bigger visibility. Rachel Quinn, to Tomas Aguilar. CC, Nina Saito, timestamp 3 days ago. Another message below. I've had to manage her output closely these last few months. Several red flags on decision-making and follow-through. Would recommend limiting client exposure until further assessment. Same sender. Same thread. Same venom in lowercase. My fingers went cold. I read it again. No attachment. Just that. Thread. Slid into my inbox like a scalpel. I walked into Tomas's office before I could decide not to. He looked up. Hey, you want to explain this? I held up my phone. He didn't reach for it. Just sat back. You saw the thread. I saw the truth. He sighed. It wasn't meant to. I know exactly what it was meant to do. Look, he said. Rachel raised some concerns. I asked for documentation. Standard process. She didn't raise concerns. She mounted a campaign. I don't think that's fair. Don't say that word to me. Not after reading that. He rubbed his eyes. It's not a judgment. It's a snapshot. You think I'm erratic? I think you've been tense. You mean after being sidelined, erased, and undermined? Sure. I've been a little tense. I didn't say you were unfit. No. You let her say it. Over email. With HR in copy. Nina's looped into everything above level 6. Do you even read what she sends you? I try to stay neutral. You're not neutral. You're complicit. Come on. I stepped closer. You want neutral? Neutral would have been checking your facts. Asking me. Looking at the actual work. I've seen your work, then you know every number she's taken credit for started in my hands. She's not completely wrong, he said, silenced. He cleared his throat. You have moments. Moments. Where you pull back. Go quiet. It worries people. I go quiet when I'm calculating how to deal with people who lie. Tomas stood. This isn't helping. No. But it's clarifying. Look, he said, softer now. I don't want a war between you two. You have one. I want you to be okay. I stared at him. I am done being okay. Rachel caught me by the coffee bar 20 minutes later. You saw it. Tell me something, I said. Was that always the plan? It wasn't meant for you. But it was meant for HR. She exhaled. Things have been escalating. I needed cover. From what? From your moods. Your withdrawal. You started acting carefully. She hesitated. You stopped collaborating. You started erasing. You made it harder to trust you. Because I didn't let you siphon me dry? She looked around. This isn't the place. It never is. I didn't mean for it to be like this. But you meant what you wrote. She didn't answer. I stepped closer. What's the endgame here, Rachel? You get me off the client track, make me look unstable, and then what? Slide into the role they were considering for me. I've earned that role. With my work. With my work too. Not the part you sent in that email. Rachel's voice dropped. You want to take this to HR? I leaned in. I don't need HR. I just needed to see it. Then what? You'll find out. I didn't respond to Tomas's follow-up. Didn't engage with Rachel's attempt at a Slack, clearing the air. I spent the next 2 days building a dossier, pulling every slide, memo, Slack thread, and client response tied to my input. Matched it with timestamps. Highlighted instances where her summaries mirrored my language. Used metadata to show which version originated from where. I added a side-by-side comparison, Rachel's email statements versus demonstrable results. When I sent it, I CC'd Nina, then I waited. Nina called Thursday morning. Can we talk? Of course. We met in one of The smaller rooms, no windows, just neutral chairs and a plant that was clearly fake, she started softly. First, thank you for the documentation. Did it help? It clarified a lot. She shifted in her seat. I want to understand what led up to all this. You and Rachel used to be close. Until she decided I was more useful as a shadow. Did you ever try addressing it directly? Yes. Did you document that? No, Nina nodded. Still, your submission was thorough. Concerning, even. So, what now? We'll need to have a formal discussion with both of you. But internally, there's alignment that Rachel's framing of the situation was misleading. I stayed still. We don't take lightly to mischaracterizing colleagues. Especially when it informs leadership decisions. I know. Nina folded her hands. There's also conversation about reassigning ownership of the Vanguard client. My heart thudded. Tch? Likely you. I nodded once. You okay? She asked. I am now. Tomas passed me in the hallway later that day. He slowed. You could have come to me. I did. I mean sooner. I gave you space to see. You chose not to look. He winced. I didn't want to pick sides. You did. You just didn't know it. Rachel walked into my office around 5:20, just before people started pretending to pack up. She shut the door without asking. I just spoke to Nina. I know. You blindsided me. You forwarded the blade. This is retaliation. No, I said. It's record keeping. She paced. I never wanted to destroy you. You just wanted to beat me. And figured if I looked broken in the process, all the better. I panicked. You strategized. She stopped pacing. You won't get away with this. I stood. Rachel. I didn't do anything. She stared. You did, I said. And I simply stopped holding it for you. She shook her head. You always thought you were smarter. No, I said. I hoped you were better. She left without slamming the door. That was the final surprise. The notebook was small, leather-bound, no lines, cream pages thick enough to keep ink from bleeding through. I bought it on a Tuesday, after Rachel claimed authorship of a slide that still had my initials in the corner. I started on the back page. 3.12, client summary rewritten. My phrasing, her name. Tomas nodded like it came from her gut. Writing it made my pulse steady. The page didn't argue. It didn't squirm. It just absorbed. New notebook? Simone asked, peeking over her tea. Yeah. Thought I'd go analog. For a while. She smiled. Old school. I like it. I nodded, flipping the cover closed. No one else needed to see what lived inside. 3.15, project brief removed from shared drive. Rachel re-uploaded an updated version. File history wiped. I still have the original. I didn't confront her. I took the meeting notes. I smiled at her summary and waited until we were alone in the elevator. You know you removed my doc. She glanced at me. It was outdated. You didn't flag it. You deleted it. Rachel kept her eyes forward. We needed alignment. Next time, align with a warning. She didn't answer. I wrote that down. 2.3.22, she's been less communicative lately. Her words in an email to Tomas. I responded in the thread within 3 minutes. I'm concerned, Tomas said over coffee, not meeting my eyes. About? There's this pattern. Define it. Pulling back. Less visible leadership. I've been here every day. Same meetings. Same output. That's not what she's seeing. No, I said. That's what she's saying. He sighed. I don't want this to get messy. Then maybe ask why the stories don't match the logs. He looked up. Start with the calendar. Then check the edit trails. He didn't say anything else. I added a note on the train home. 3.27, Slack message deleted after she claimed an idea as her own in the Monday stand-up. Screenshot already. Saved. You're really into that thing, Dev joked, nodding at the notebook during lunch. Helps me focus. Writing what? Patterns. He blinked. Like, behavior patterns? Something like that. He raised an eyebrow. Everything. Okay? I smiled. It's getting there. 4.1, she cut me from the offsite planning thread. Discovered only when Simone forwarded me the draft agenda. You weren't on the call? Simone asked. Wasn't invited. That's weird. It's consistent. You think she's doing it on purpose? I don't think, I said. I document. Simone paused. That's intense. It's necessary. Rachel stopped me in the stairwell. People are noticing. What people? Everyone. The distance. The attitude. You mean the silence. You're colder. I'm cleaner. She folded her arms. You think you're some kind of martyr? No. I think I'm awake. You've been acting like a victim. I've been recording like a witness. Her jaw tightened. You know what they say about people who keep lists? Yes, I said. They survive. 4.6, she requested to lead a project I proposed in a private email to Tomas. Claimed the team would benefit from a steadier voice. You don't trust her anymore, Tomas said during our one-on-one, should I? She's trying. To erase me? To stabilize things. She's consolidating. Gaslighting. Undermining. He exhaled. Do you have proof? I slid the notebook across the table, no dates redacted. No assumptions. Just facts. He flipped through slowly, page by page. His face changed on the third entry. You've kept all this? Yes. Why? Because you weren't, 4.10, called difficult to manage in a thread with Nina. I'd received a glowing peer review the same morning. Forwarded both. Saved both. Rachel caught me at the glass wall after the Thursday debrief. You really showing that thing around? It's not a weapon, I said. It's an anchor. She scoffed. You're paranoid. I'm prepared. Prepared. For what? The moment someone finally asks the right question. And then what? I answer, 4.13, she told Tomas I'd missed a deadline. I had emailed the final doc 12 hours early. With read receipt. Timestamped, you've changed, she said one evening, stepping into the elevator behind me. I've evolved. You think this wins you something? No, I said. I think it ends something. She stared at the notebook in my hand. How long are you going to carry that around? As long as I need to. Rachel looked tired then. She reached out, brushed her fingers against the cover. This used to be easy, she said, because I didn't write it down. The elevator opened. I walked out, wrote that line on a fresh page, asterisk 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 asterisk. The email subject was sterile, org changes and leadership appointments. I read it 3 times before clicking. Then I saw the chart, new vertical, new headcount, new role. 1 level above mine. Reporting to Lara Mehta, the new EVP. I closed the tab and stared at the window's reflection, steady eyes, pen still in my hand. The notebook lay open beside me. 4.28, promotion structure announced. Rachel will angle hard. I won't move first. But I won't move last. She's sharp, Simone said, scrolling on her phone. Lara, I mean. Private equity vibe. Elegant dagger energy. I'll schedule a one-on-one, I said. You should. Rachel already had hers. Of course she did. She's pitching herself hard. She always does. Come in, Lara said, glancing up as I entered her office. Neutral palette, no photos. Thanks for making time, I said. Of course. I've heard great things. From multiple directions. Her smile was clean. I like to triangulate. I nodded. I respect that. She leaned back. Tell me what I wouldn't find on your resume. I paused. I've led from the second chair for 2 years. Quietly, precisely. I clean up messes before they become problems. And you want the vertical lead. I want the responsibility. The title's just alignment. She studied me. Rachel described you differently. How so? Cautious. Brilliant but reluctant. She said you prefer influence to ownership. She's good with narratives. Is she wrong? I'm deliberate, I said. Not hesitant. Lara nodded slowly. I'll be observing closely. I'd expect nothing less. 5.2, Rachel's team briefing included slides from last quarter, my structure, relabeled. I didn't react. Lara watched. You were good in there, Rachel said, cornering me by the coffee machine. Was I? You always make your points. Feel like facts. They usually are. She smiled. You think Lara likes you? I think Lara's a strategist. Rachel leaned in. She's also decisive. You might not have the edge you think. I don't rely on edges. Then what do you rely on? Receipts. Her expression flickered. 5.4, Lara asked for one-pagers on team vision. Rachel sent hers to the partner thread first. Mine went directly to Lara. Timestamp logged. I hear you sent yours late, Rachel said in the hallway. I didn't. That's not what Nina heard. Then Nina heard wrong. Rachel stepped closer. This isn't a courtroom. No, I said. But people are testifying anyway. She narrowed her eyes. You're starting to sound paranoid. No. Just prepared. I ran into Lara in the elevator that afternoon. You had a line in your brief, she said, about accountability without spectacle. I found applause usually follows cleanup, not chaos. She nodded. Rachel's bold. You're surgical. She's loud early. I stay accurate late. Lara smiled faintly. That might be the difference. 5.7, feedback round begins. Tomas asked for examples of team impact. I sent 3 cases. Rachel posted hers in public Slack. She's broadcasting now, Simone muttered. Let her, I said. You're not going to push back? I don't chase the mic. She might win the room. I'm not in a race for applause. Simone looked at me. Then what are you racing for? Proof. Rachel appeared in my office doorway just before close. Lara meets with Tomas tomorrow. I know. She's compiling a list. Of course. She tilted her head. You're calm. You're performative. You think I haven't earned this. I think you've rewritten the score enough times to forget who composed it. Rachel walked in. You think you're above the game. I documented the game. Lara doesn't care about your notebooks. She cares about consistency. She cares about impact. And mine's measurable. Rachel folded her arms. If you really were the strongest candidate, you'd have moved first. No, I said. I'd move last. When it matters. 5.8 Tomas forwarded feedback. 3 directors referenced my crisis response protocol. Rachel was named in. 2, peripherally. 1 called her energizing but uneven. You've been consistent, Lara said in our second meeting. It's the only thing I control. You understand power well. I understand misuse better. She glanced at her screen. Why haven't you positioned yourself more aggressively? Because I don't need to. She mid my ice. You've been playing a long game. No. I said. Just refusing to fold. The list came out the next morning. I was on it, Rachel wasn't. The file was titled Performance Patterns Q2, Q4. Clean. Neutral. No names in the subject, no hints in the metadata. Just rows, charts, timelines, and impact. 6 months of deliverables, broken down by owner, outcome, and source of credit. I didn't narrate it. I didn't editorialize. I showed the difference between visibility and value. Then I sent it to Nina. Interesting report, she said when she called. Did Tomas ask for it? No, then why now? Timing matters. You're not naming names. I'm showing behavior. Still, it's clear who some of it points to. I know. You're making a statement. I'm making a record. Nina paused. You're very precise. That's the job, isn't it? Not always. But it should be. The next day, the file appeared in a strategy thread with. For senior leaders see seat. Nina had forwarded it.no comment, no context, just the work. Rachel slid into the chair beside me before the all hands. Your little dossier's making the rounds. It's a report. It's a weapon. No. I said. It's an audit. She leaned closer. You think they don't know who wrote it? They know exactly who wrote it. That's the point. You're trying to humiliate me. If I wanted that, your name would be on every slide. Rachel's mouth tightened. This is petty. This is preventative. Of what? Of history being rewritten again. 5.12 Engagement numbers from my initiative were quoted in Lara's metrics summary. Rachel's name not mentioned. Mine was. Bolded. You kept everything, Tomas said, stopping by my desk. I catalogued results. You went surgical. No, I said. I went quiet. And careful. He lowered his voice. They're talking about that file. Good. It paints a picture. I didn't use paint. I used facts. You're turning the tide. I'm clarifying the record. I found Nina by the elevators. Thanks for forwarding it. I didn't add commentary. You didn't need to. Some people are surprised. Let them be. Nina smiled slightly. You understand silence better than most. Silence is only dangerous when you don't know what's underneath it. She nodded. They're listening now. They should be. Rachel cornered me by the stairwell that afternoon. You're playing the long game now? I always was. You could have brought this to me. I did. You didn't listen. She exhaled. You made me look sloppy. I didn't touch you. I just lit the room. Don't act innocent. I'm not innocent, I said. I'm just accurate. Rachel stepped closer. You're not better than me. I'm just less messy. She stared. You really think this gets you what you want? I think it gets me what I earned. 5.14 Lara referenced the recent attribution analysis in a partner sync. Said it was quietly powerful. Said we should build from it. You've disrupted things, Simone said, sliding into the booth across from me at lunch. They needed disrupting. I didn't know you had that kind of power. I didn't either. What now? Let them talk. I'll keep building. Simone nodded. They're saying Nina's backing you. She's not backing me. She's forwarding truth. Rachel didn't speak to me for 3 days. Then she appeared beside me at the printer. You won, she said. No, I said. I proved I didn't lose. Same thing. No, I said. It really isn't. Rachel crossed her legs, smoothed her skirt, and smiled at me like we were still friends. Like nothing had ever happened. They're running behind, she said, glancing at the clock. I nodded. That's fine. She tilted her head. You nervous? No, you should be. Lara doesn't like vagueness. I don't speak vaguely. Rachel laughed softly. You do that thing, you sound calm, but you're cutting. I just answer the question. Her smile thinned. You'll see. It's different when you're on the spot. I didn't reply. The door opened. A woman with a clipboard called her name. Rachel stood. Break a leg. I'll wait. She disappeared into the interview room, heels clicking like punctuation. I opened my notebook. No notes. Just a blank page. I didn't need reminders. I had receipts in my bloodstream. 31 minutes later, she came out. How was it? Good, she said quickly. Lara smiled at everything I said. She even took notes. Sounds promising. She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. I hit all the metrics. Made it about team impact. You know. I do. Her smile flickered. The clipboard woman called my name. 3 people sat at the table, Lara, Tomas, and a director from Ops whose name I didn't bother to memorize. Lara nodded. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for having me. Tomas smiled politely. Let's begin. Lara started. Why this role? Because I've already been doing it. Quietly. Thoroughly. And what would you bring that others might not? Pattern. Recognition. Strategic memory. I see things people forget to track. Examples? Attrition. Attribution. Timing gaps. Visibility imbalance. I've documented all of it. Tomas raised an eyebrow. You mean the performance report? That was a start. I didn't name names. I showed impact. Lara leaned forward. Was that always your plan? No. It became my plan when I realized doing the work wasn't enough. Ops director spoke up. What's the biggest risk you've taken here? Staying silent long. Enough to know exactly when to speak. And what changed? Someone underestimated how closely I was paying attention. Lara tapped her pen. How do you lead under pressure? I take notes. I ask precise questions. I don't flood the room with noise. Tomas cleared his throat. Rachel said in her session that visibility requires narrative. That silence can look like absence. She's not wrong, I said. But there's a difference between telling a story and building a case. And you've built a case? I've built a record. Results. Recoveries. Risk mitigation. My fingerprint is on every system that didn't break. Lara sat back. You're very measured. I have to be. Why? Because the room gets louder when women speak, but not always clearer. I wait until clarity matters. The ops guy nodded slightly. Lara glanced at Tomas. How would your team describe your leadership? Consistent. Exacting. Fair. And what would Rachel say? That I'm calculated. Are you? When needed. Lara smiled faintly. Would you trust yourself with this role? Yes. Why now? Because I'm no longer asking. I'm stating. The interview ended clean. I walked out the same way I walked in, slow, steady, silent. Rachel looked up. How'd it go? Well enough. She studied my face. You're not rattled. No, they ask you about me? I paused. Indirectly. What did you say? The truth. She gave a tight smile. Which version? The one backed by numbers. Rachel stood. You really think they'll pick you? I think they already did. They just haven't told you yet. The subject line said, Congratulations. No exclamation point. No flourish. Just the word. Clean. Final. I didn't click it right. Away. Just stared at it while the office hummed behind me, phones chirping, chairs sliding, someone laughing too loud by the water cooler. Then I opened it. Lara. Formal tone. Bullet points. Clear language. Effective immediately. Executive title. And scope. In recognition of impact. No mention of Rachel. None needed. You got it. Simone's voice, low and close. I looked up. I saw Lara's calendar update. She said. You're in. I nodded. No champagne? Not yet. Rachel knows? She will. Simone exhaled. Hell of a road. Hell of a strategy. Rachel came to me just after lunch, I heard. I figured you would. She didn't sit. They didn't even tell me directly. Just a permissions change in the admin console. That's unfortunate. She laughed once, sharp. No speech? No smug line? No, you waited for this. I worked for this. You wanted me to see it like this. No, I said. I wanted you to feel it. Her jaw clenched. You think this makes you clean? I think it makes me seen. You used me. I recorded you. She shook her head. You played the long game. I played the accurate one. Rachel's eyes flicked to the email. Still open on my screen. You're proud of that? No, I said. I'm done needing to be. She stood there a moment longer, then walked away. No more threats. No apology, just silence. I didn't reply to Lara's email until midnight. Subject. Thank you, body, understood. Rachel stood in the doorway, rigid, arms crossed loosely, her eyes fixed somewhere near my left shoulder. So, she said, voice tight, I guess I report to you now. I finished typing a quick note, then looked up slowly, calm, yes, you. Do. She stepped in, paused, then closed the door behind her. Carefully. Quietly, sit, I said, gesturing at the chair across from me. She sat stiffly, placing her hands flat on her knees, fingers carefully arranged. So, she said again, forcing a smile. How does this work? Like every other one-on-one. Her jaw tightened briefly. Do you want to set an agenda? You first. What do you need from me? She blinked. Excuse me? Your projects. Priorities. Obstacles. Let's start there. Her eyes narrowed slightly. You know my projects. I know what you presented, I corrected gently. Now I need to understand what you're actually working on. She leaned forward, voice brittle. Meaning? Meaning clarity, I said. No assumptions. No oversights. You don't trust me. It's not personal. It's operational. Rachel pressed her lips together, then exhaled. Fine. The client audit is still priority. The ops overhaul is next. And your obstacles? She hesitated, glancing away briefly. Alignment. Visibility. Internal comms. Be specific. Her cheeks flushed faintly. You know exactly what the obstacles are. I need to hear. You name them. She swallowed. I don't have direct channels anymore. Senior partners aren't returning my messages as quickly. And why do you think that is? Her eyes flashed. Don't do that. Do what? That calm, therapist. Routine. You know exactly why. I need to hear your perspective, Rachel. She sat back, defiant now. They trust you more. Because? You positioned yourself well. I didn't position myself, I said clearly. I documented. She folded her arms again. Fine. You won the war. Can we move past it? Now? This isn't about war. It's about truth. Rachel's eyes narrowed again, wary. What truth, exactly? That trust is built through consistency, accuracy, and transparency. And you don't think I was transparent? I held her gaze. Do you? She stared, discomfort flickering behind her mask. I did what was necessary. You did. What you chose. Now you live with the results. Her voice dropped. Is that what this is? Revenge? No, I said evenly. This is accountability. She stood suddenly, agitation cracking through her careful calm. Then just say it, what exactly do you want from me? I met her eyes steadily. Honesty. Rachel laughed once, sharp and brief. You don't want honesty. You want submission. No. I said softly. I just want accuracy. She paced slowly, turning back to face me. Do you even know how infuriating you are? Yes. Does it feel good to hold this over me? I'm not holding anything. You're holding yourself. She paused, uncertain. And you expect me to believe this isn't personal? It's deeply personal, I said quietly. But that's not how I manage. Her shoulders slumped slightly, a breath escaping slowly. So that's it. You're above it all now. No, I said calmly. I'm just beyond needing validation. Rachel stared hard, then looked away, jaw tense. Fine. Operationally, what else do you need? Clear reports. Accurate metrics. Timely updates. The basics. She nodded stiffly. Anything else? Yes. I leaned forward slightly. What do you need from me to succeed here? She blinked, caught off guard. What? Support. Resources. Clarity. I'm asking genuinely. Her brow creased slightly, suspicion softening into confusion. Why? Because your success is now part of mine. She looked down, fingers curling slightly in her lap. You could have just let me fail. That wouldn't serve anyone. She exhaled slowly, cautiously glancing up. I didn't expect you to be like this. Like what? Fair. Fairness isn't optional. She nodded slowly, tension loosening slightly. I don't trust this yet. You don't have to trust it, I said. You just have to believe it. Rachel looked down at her hands again, quiet for a long moment. Okay. Good. I sat back. Now, operationally, what specifically do you need first? She hesitated, then spoke quietly. Access restored to my core projects. Clear paths to senior comms again. Done. She raised her gaze warily. That's it? That's it. Rachel stood slowly, studying me as if seeing me clearly for the first time. Why? Because justice isn't punishment, I said. It's balance. She nodded once, expression uncertain but softer. I'll have the metrics in your inbox tomorrow morning. Good. She opened the door, paused, looking back briefly. Thank you. You're welcome. Then she stepped out, the door closing quietly behind her. I sat back slowly, exhaling the tension I hadn't realized I'd been holding. The room felt calmer, clearer, balanced. Rachel's resignation landed quietly in my inbox, nestled between quarterly forecasts and meeting invites. The subject line was clinical, notice of resignation. I opened it without expectation. 2 lines, effective immediately. Best of luck. No explanation. No apology. I read it again, absorbing its brevity. Then I deleted it. My inbox refreshed smoothly, leaving no trace. Did you know? Simone asked softly, peering around my doorway. Later that morning, I saw the email. Anything else? No, she frowned gently. Strange. I shrugged, eyes steady. Not really. She didn't even say goodbye. I nodded slowly. She didn't need to. You're okay with that? I'm clear with it. Simone hesitated, considering her next words carefully. Do you feel vindicated? I looked up calmly. I feel done. Tomas came by mid-afternoon, cautious. You heard, he said, lingering in the doorway. Yes. You surprised? No, he tilted his head slightly. Not even a little. It felt inevitable. He stepped into the office, closing the door quietly behind him. She didn't speak to anyone. Just left. She didn't need a conversation. Does that bother you? No, his eyes searched mine. Would you have wanted one? No, he exhaled softly. Closure? Already have it. He nodded thoughtfully. You're strong. No, I corrected quietly. I'm clear. Later, Nina appeared silently, her presence calm and unobtrusive. I forwarded the resignation to leadership, she said, carefully neutral. They'll likely ask you about it. I expect that. Anything you want to add? No, she studied me carefully. Not even context? It's already documented. She nodded, understanding passing between us silently. She left a note for HR, short. Neutral. Good. You don't want to know what it said? No, she paused briefly. Then, I won't tell you. Thank you. You're not curious? I met her gaze evenly. I stopped needing answers weeks ago. By late afternoon, word had spread quietly. No cake. No card. No ritual. Just silence where Rachel's desk sat empty. Feels weird, Dev murmured, lingering near my doorway at closing. What does? Just gone. No godis. It happens. He hesitated. You gonna miss her? No, not. Even the friendship? It wasn't friendship, I said calmly. It was proximity. His eyebrows rose slightly. Harsh. Honest. He nodded slowly. Maybe that's better. It is. He paused a moment longer. You seem relieved. No, I corrected gently. Just resolved. I stayed late, watching dust seep into the corners of the office, quiet settling deeply around me. Simone tapped lightly at my open door, holding her coat. Still here? Almost done. She hovered quietly, hesitant. You sure you're okay? I smiled faintly. Completely. She won't reach out? No, you don't care? I don't need to. Simone watched me quietly. You changed. No, I said softly. I clarified. She nodded, understanding deepening in her eyes. See you tomorrow? Yes. The office emptied, the hum fading into silence, the air around me still. I stood, stretching slowly, feeling tension unwind gently from my shoulders. I passed Rachel's desk, empty, neat. No forgotten belongings. No lingering presence. Just polished wood and silence. I paused only briefly, no lingering glance, no reflection. Then continued forward, steady. Outside, night air cooled my face gently. I inhaled deeply, clarity filling my lungs slowly, fully. No confrontation. No apology. Just quiet resolution. It was enough. I walked away, certain and clear. Morning sun poured in, softening the sharp edges of the glass and chrome. My office was quiet, filled only with the steady murmur of the team gathering beyond the transparent walls. I leaned back, breathing in the stillness. My eyes drifted to the framed quote above my desk, "Clarity is power." I sipped slowly from my coffee, savoring its warmth. A gentle knock broke my reverie. Simone stood in the doorway, smiling gently. Got a minute? She asked. Always. She stepped inside, glancing at the quote. You always believed that? Not always, I said quietly. But I do now. She nodded thoughtfully, settling into the chair. Feels different around here. How so? Calmer. Clearer. No undercurrents. That was the goal. She studied me a moment longer. You seem lighter, too. I smiled slightly. Clearer. She laughed softly. You like that word. It earned its place. Simone glanced toward the open office area. They talk about you differently now. How? Respectful. Confident. Even the senior partners. Good. You're not surprised? I'm validated. Not surprised. Simone smiled warmly, standing to leave. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I intend to. Dev appeared next, poking his head in. Quick question. Come in. He hesitated, then entered, glancing awkwardly around the peaceful space. You're approachable now. It's new. I was always approachable. Yeah, but now you seem easier. Less guarded. I stopped needing defenses. He tilted his head thoughtfully. Rachel. Leaving changed things. No, I corrected gently. It was clarity, not absence. He paused. Didn't you ever feel angry? Of course. But not anymore? I let it go, I said simply. Anger isn't useful. Clarity is. Dev nodded slowly. Good to know. I smiled gently. Your question? Oh, right, he laughed softly. The client timeline, I wanted your input. Absolutely. Later, Tomas stopped in, leaning against the doorframe casually. Quiet day. Yes. You prefer it this way? I prefer clarity. He smiled slightly. That's becoming your brand. It always was, I said, holding his gaze. Now it's just recognized. He nodded, expression thoughtful. I've learned a lot watching you. Such as? That power isn't noise. It's steady consistency. Yes, I said quietly. It is. He pushed off the frame gently. Just wanted to say thanks. For showing me. You showed yourself, I said evenly. I just clarified. He smiled warmly. Enjoy your quiet. I intend to. As afternoon stretched gently, Nina appeared, serene and composed. Can we talk briefly? She asked softly. Always. She closed the door, sitting across from me. Leadership appreciates your approach. They value clarity now. You shifted that. I clarified. It. She smiled. Rachel asked for a reference. I paused briefly. Good. Do you want to provide one? Yes. Her eyebrows rose slightly. Really? Yes. Balanced. Accurate. Nina considered quietly. You surprise me. I'm clear, I corrected gently. Not vindictive. She nodded thoughtfully. They trust your judgment implicitly. They should. She smiled softly, standing gracefully. You're a remarkable leader. No, I said calmly. I'm just clear. She laughed gently, leaving quietly, peace lingering behind. The office settled softly toward evening, sunlight fading slowly across polished surfaces. The team moved gracefully through their tasks, unburdened and steady. I stood, stretching gently, then walked out quietly. Simone glanced up, smiling warmly. Leaving already? It's time. Plans? Yes. She tilted her head curiously. Something exciting? I smiled faintly. Just peaceful. She laughed softly. You really did change. No. I said simply. I clarified. She nodded warmly. Good night. Good night. Outside, the air was crisp, cleansing. I inhaled slowly, clarity filling my chest, steadying and calm. No anxiety. No hesitation. Just gentle confidence. I had feared once that emotions would mark me weak. That vulnerability would cost me respect, but clarity had taught me otherwise. Emotion was my greatest strength, guiding each careful step forward. I moved through the city slowly, breathing deeply, feeling whole. I didn't fear leading with openness anymore. It wasn't risky, it was necessary. People didn't follow defenses. They followed truth. Authenticity was power, clarity was strength, and I was no longer afraid to show it. At home, quiet welcomed me softly. I moved slowly, preparing dinner, each motion peaceful, steady. No rush. No urgency. Just mindful presence. Later, settling gently. By the window, I watched the city lights bloom softly against twilight, comforted by silence. My phone buzzed softly. Simone, texting gently, thank you for today. For everything. I smiled quietly, typing back always, setting my phone aside. I sank deeper into the chair, feeling tranquility envelop me. I was clear now. Steady. Hold. It was enough.